Welcome everyone back to the Alpha Racing League. We are here for Season 3. Once again, it is Tier 1, round number 10 for the Belgian Grand Prix. Of course, like always, you're joined by PMB, league owner, as you may not know, may or may not know. Always a pleasure to have you, Milo Gaming. How are you doing?
Hello PMB, hello everyone. Great to be here. As always, back with our second race in Tier 1 at Belgium.
Third. I'll correct you there. I'll correct you there. Third. But yes.
Oh no.
Season 1.
Season 1. I wasn't here then.
Yeah, but second race you were here, so
Yeah,
still, a
it
decent
counts.
effort with that.
I'm
So yeah.
sorry. Oh no.
No worries. No worries, though. No worries. I just kind of want to go over a lot of the things going on with this weekend already and with everything going on. Let's talk about Belgium last season and in Season 1. I'll recap Season 1 just a little bit. It was F1 driver and DW having a 20-lap battle for the win. That's over half the race. That's about 90% of the race. Having a 20-lap battle for the race win and just duking it out. Those two were far ahead of everyone else. Just to put it in that way, simplest terms, they were farther ahead of everyone else. And then it was the battle for the podium between Paulo God, Ricochet, and Bama. Ricochet ended up with a post-race penalty. Therefore, Bama got the podium. Paulo binned it. That's kind of usual, but that's what happened. With that being said, and yeah, should be interesting to see what can happen in this race, because we've seen before first time guys in the podium at this track, and guys too usually not seen before in the podium sometimes. We've seen last season, this race was actually kind of, if I'm correct, it was round 10 last season. If I'm correct, correct me if I'm wrong.
I've just looked.
11. Okay, so I was close enough. But yeah, it was round 11 last season, and it was the weekend of the Mexican Grand Prix. The weekend you had actually won in ARL. So I mean, kind of flashback to that, I guess you could say. Mexico is coming up soon, but Belgium Grand Prix last season. Already with a great start. Last season kind of showed how good Boker was, how the pressure kind of came to him at a race where he could win the championship. He'd gone on winning the championship, but it was Rizone winning the race who pitted lap 1 from a safety car, and DW as well, who pitted onto the hards, who got a podium. And for the first time in a single solitary season, he got a podium. It's been a while for him, but he's the only driver at this track to have a 100% podium rate in every single race that's been done here. So just recap of last season quickly.
Yeah, obviously the lap 1 safety car was a major turning point in that race, and it had barely even begun. Of course, that DW podium was such a huge moment for him, and got involved congratulating him. It was a very nice moment to see. And of course, Rapper Lucas at the time, now FRA Cobra, who rounded off the podium as well with Mr. Boker. He was chasing on them. He was breathing down their necks, and it all got very close as the hard started to wear off. Maybe we'll see something similar today, but it all depends on what sort of carnage we get here on the Spa first lap.
I was also going to mention something that we didn't talk about or mention at all yet. If you do remember, it was the last lap of the race. Boker and John collided, basically. John going on the grass, and we saw probably one of the most amazing saves I think we've seen in this league yet from drivers driving on the grass. I don't know if you remember that too much or too well, but that was a moment last season that kind of was crazy and kind of was a highlight of the season, at least at that time. And not really many people remember that heading into Season 3, but yeah, it's kind of the way I have to put it there. And John not racing today, of course. And yeah, he has the reserve driver of Tonyson in that Ferrari, well, yeah, in that Mercedes, sorry, and 8 F1 Master reserving for John. Both being the only 2 reserves for today. Something I want to bring up, though, is the first starts last season and something today. Last season in this race, it was Such J making his first start. He took one of many 11th place finishes at that end of the season. And he made his first start with 3 races to go, and you see a very cloudy session here right now. Could we see rain by the end of this? This will be interesting, but it's worth bringing that up right now. But Such J made his first start here in this race last season, in Season 2. And the thing with Such J, happy birthday to him, because he becomes Touche 26, we'll call it. No, we'll have to see if he can win a race on his birthday. That'd be kind of cool to see. One of your drivers there, Milo. And let's go over Tier 2 and Tier 3 quickly. Tier 3, most of the wrecks, most of the crashes, self-inflicted, self-caused. What did you kind of think of that race in Tier 3, where Bennett gone on to win another race, dominating performance. Hissy and Squid as well, and Aaron Ocon. He was on for a podium. So was so many other people, like Fire King. There was so much going on in that race overall.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to relive that Tier 3 race, but I will speak about it. Again, Bennett running away from the pack, even from the safety car restart, just composed throughout. Hissy almost had his race ended by Black Raw, I believe it was, dive bombing 2 cars under yellow flags.
Oh! Pluto's out!
Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah, he clipped the curb and spun out. I just was on board with him right there. Oh, man. I just want to bring up quickly, before I mention anything, I'm going to try my hardest not to commentate curse anyone like I did yesterday. But, continue.
Yeah, where was I? Black Raw. Yeah, it was him that almost took Hissy out of the race. He had to take some avoiding action onto the curb. And another second place to his name. Squid Jr. as well. Another solid podium finish. Ahead of Arthur, who was, you know, he really wanted that podium. But had a bit of a moment with Communist. If you want to go watch that Twitch clip, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. I recommend you do for a good laugh.
Yeah, I also want to mention, though, Milo, from all that, this championship can be over pretty soon. Next week at Spain can be for Tier 3, but I want to bring up most importantly about this whole thing, of that Raptor, because of his bad races and because of what's happened recently, how inconsistent he's kind of been, he moves down to 4th in the standings, and because of Squid Jr.'s podium, he moves up to 2nd in the standings, just ahead of Hissy by 1 point. So it's not as much the battle for the championship lead anymore like it was at the start. It's more of a back because 2nd through 4th is all within 5 points of one another. So that should be interesting to see. Tier 2, on the other hand, I may as well announce something early. Congrats on your podium. That's awesome to see. First time in a season, especially with how you kind of came into this game. You started struggling a lot, and it was kind of really a downgrade of last season, because last season, winning a race at least at the very minimum, and now you have been 10 races through without a podium. Now you got a podium, so congrats on that podium.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I was really happy with my pace that whole race, and a few drivers in front of me were unfortunately spinning out, so watch out for that today. Even the front runners can get caught out by Spa. Of course, Brake Tester had some moments. I saw Sam Steed at the side of the road as well. It wasn't ideal for a few in front of me, but I was able to capitalise and have some good pace. Of course, massive congratulations to Matti Mumu, who took his first win of all time in this league. So yeah, that was fantastic to see, as well as AMS Rain in 2nd place as well. Almost said Tier 2 then, but yeah, of course, he is in Tier 2 and takes the 2nd place. So yeah, it was a very fun race.
Yeah, I was also going to mention, Pluto made a prediction on the Instagram earlier this week, earlier a few days ago, that the winners would be Bennett in Tier 3, Maddie in Tier 2. Now, he predicted Speedy in Tier 1. Now, can that become true? We'll have to find out. He's currently on pole right now as things stand. But yeah, Luke B got demoted from the podium. We'll announce that now, I guess, with the way penalties are shaping up. Because of contact with F1 boy, that got himself a penalty. And yeah, a lot of people tuned into your stream. That was also good to see. And I think it kind of showed Tier 2 why we should be racing in Belgium. There were, out of the top 6, 5 of the top 6 had championship trouble or something go on, and none of them finished, well, except for Maddie and Mumu, finished in the top 6. That's kind of insane to think that many drivers were outside the top 6, such as Atlanta, such as Sam and others that had trouble that day. And that's going to move Maddie Mumu actually up to 2nd in the championship, thinking about that now. And I want to go over Tier 1 points quickly before the session does end, because it may start raining, unless it already has. I don't think it has, but it is very, very cloudy. I will say that. So the Tier 1 championship, Milo, it's been one of the most competitive seasons we've seen yet. Look at the qualifying order. How close it is. Insanely close. Now, this championship battle kind of changed a little bit last week after Cobra. ended his point streak after getting post-race penalties, 18 seconds worth of post-race penalties, resets to track, a collision, just a lot of things that went on with him that got him outside the points because of it. And he ended that 23 points race streak consecutively that he had. And he finishes outside the points, which now changes the championship as well, now that you think about it, because Jack is 20 points clear, while they've got F1 driver about 32 points behind that. And you could still say he's in contention, but he's got to really put the fight up to Jack as well. With Paulo behind and Speedy Midget too, 4th and 5th, who could easily be challenging Cobra by the end of the season if they put on the performances they have the past few weeks compared to Cobra's. And I also want to mention the constructors very quickly. Williams and Alfa Romeo, 10 points within one another. They're in a very strict fight with one another. And McLaren and Red Bull, if things do happen between those top two teams like we've seen before with championship struggles, those two, McLaren and Red Bull, could capitalize on certain things.
Yeah, obviously, we spoke about this last week and how Williams versus Alfa Romeo is shaping up. Every little variable matters, even Axe being in the pit lane, I'm pretty sure mowing the lawn outside or something like that in this session is costing him track position. It could potentially cost Williams some points, considering how good Polo and F1 driver have been lately. Polo is provisionally on the front row at the moment, and after Alfa Romeo's 1-2 last week, you know, you really fancy them sometime soon to go on and overtake Williams.
Yeah, quickly, I just want to speak about that championship once again. I just want to remind people as well, too, that if you try to qualify when you're still on an outlap late in the session, you're not going to be able to do it because Codemasters have fixed that glitch, at least, at the very minimum. So, with that being said, this is the final chances people got to do a lap. And some people have already started laps now, as you see. But I just want to mention quickly about the championship, Milo. This championship can change in a very split second because we've seen Jack have trouble before. Look at the start of the season. But ever since he missed that Austria race, he's became a different driver and a different kind of person with how he's raced people, because we saw the amazing battle between him and F1 driver last week. Although he finished 4th, he's always been in the leading battle no matter what happens to him. No matter what happens to him, he's always been up there in that leading battle. And there is rain starting to come down now.
That is rain, and that actually might, just while we're on qualifying here, that actually might dampen a few drivers' laps. I needed to use a different word there, I'm sorry. But we could have a pretty certain order soon in this session. But yeah, like you said, Jack had a really, really sluggish start to the season. China was a prime example of that. But yeah, he's got a healthy lead. He's got the momentum, unlike Cobra, who's been really good in the races. He's avoided penalties and warnings, but the results aren't quite good enough compared to Jack. And of course, F1 driver is still just outside that race win window, if you like. And Polo got just 14 points behind his teammate as well. Don't rule him out for a really strong finish here, but as he's only 26 points behind Cobra for second, so there's a lot of twists and turns along the lines in the remaining races of the season.
Speaking of Cobra, he goes up to 4th. A lot of people are retiring from the session. Tony's son, Axe, they've completed checker flags. But behind that, there's been people like 8F1 Master, ABS Jarv, Such J, already out of the session. Such J not starting off his birthday the way he'd want to. Because you have a Haas driver. Ooh, that's Speedy Midget out and upside down.
That was a crazy
upside
crash.
down and
I'm
over
gonna
the... Yeah. Just saw the end of that one, but the Haas driver, that is going to be Sam Cole coming to the line. Not a bad start for him because he's going to go 4th. You have the Williams driver, that is Jack heading to the final sector. Going to come into the pits this time, but you have behind that Kyle SO2, who's outside the top 10 right now as things stand. Can he get ahead of Pluto at least? At the very minimum, he cannot do so. Behind that, there's other drivers coming to the line, Kagoda being one of them. Where does he go? Any better than 10th? No, it is not. He does improve, though. And you have the Alfa Romeo driver of F1 driver goes 7th. Polo, God, where does he go? He stays 3rd. Jack is on pole right now, but the only person who can say anything about that is F-Ray Cobra, but he is done with a lap. So that means Jack is on pole for, I believe, the 4th time of the season.
Yeah, big stat. We obliterated last season's pole time by about 1.6 seconds.
Sorry, that's fifth time. Apologies right there. I was close. At least we can say that. Well, it is Jack on pole, and we've seen many times when Jack does win the pole award here that and get the pole point, he always has that 2/10 or at least marginal gap, and that is ahead at least. Jack on the pole, Speedy Midget second. Behind that, Paulo, Sam Cole, FRA Cobra as the top 5. Scratty Rat, F1 driver, V2 Combat, Jab, and Kagoda is the top 10. Now outside the top 10, Axe, will he be able to be back in time to race? I know Square got him in the lobby and stuff like that, but is Axe even back yet? That's a big question. Brute Gorgon as well, outside the top 10, looking to make something happen. Pluto as well, he's had bad luck recently. He's outside the top 10, lagged out a few times. And Ricochet as well, we've seen that strategy in Britain go on. And lap 1 safety cars have been very, very common at this racetrack in this league. And also, just in general, lap 1 crashes here, because it's happened before. We've seen crashes at turn 1 in season 1, turn 1 last season, and even up to Rouge and Radeon. We've seen many crashes happen. So with that being said, do we expect a lap 1 safety car? Because the 1-2 finishers last season were guys who pitted first lap safety car.
Yeah, and obviously that all depends on how cleanly they get through the first corner, because that's where all the action happened. You had Tax, Jav in there, and some others. I think Polo God as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, qualifying was actually close. 1.2 separated the top 18, and of course, Such J was just 10 seconds off. I'm not sure what happened to him, but yeah, formation lap. It's a long one, so hopefully we can get some decent predictions in.
Yeah, I may as well start off with my predictions. I'm going to go... who do I go with? I don't know. That's a good question. Well, this is tough. What about Speedy Midget second? I'm going to go with him to start off this race. Pluto, his team leader, of course, maybe a little biased there, predicted him to win, but he's shown before he has the pace to do so. And, I mean, he was up front in Britain on that safety car restart and spun out. That may have hurt his confidence, but definitely didn't hurt his pace whatsoever, because in Italy, he got that podium again. We've seen him on the podium 3 times before. 2 of them were not wins. We've seen him win in Japan. He's challenging Jack, and we've seen before drivers get that run up from a Rouge up to Radeon to the Camel Straight to where they can use enough momentum and maybe that overtake button to negotiate their way around the leader. I've seen it before, and we've seen it in real life with Sebastian Vettel 2018, so it could happen again with Speedy Midget. What about Sam Cole running fourth, or starting fourth in this race? I mean, there's nothing negative you could say about him this season. Last season in this race, he scored his best finish at the time, scored a decent points finish, and he is the best finisher, 4th or 5th, one of the 2. I can't remember necessarily. But the thing is with him, could this be the race he gets his first podium? He's yet to get one. And I'm also going to go outside the top 10. I'm going to go with Such J down 19th. This is the track where he made his first start. And it's his birthday today. It should be interesting to see what he can do on his birthday. And if he can possibly get himself up into the points or even a podium before, like we've seen, because he's got a podium from outside the top 15 on the grid. So it'll be interesting to see if he can do so. Milo, your favorites.
I'm actually going to go for an underdog to start things off, and that's Jab. He had a tough time in this race last season, and having a tough start to things. Well, we're not even near the start anymore. We're towards the end of the season. He's 18th in the championship with 9 points. Underrated qualifying, up in P9. He would like some points today, so that's why I've predicted it. Scratty Rat as well, that's another pretty underrated qualifying, putting it in 6th ahead of F1 driver, just behind Cobra, Sam Cole, and some of the usual front runners. And I'm also going to go with Pluto, someone else outside the top 10. He had that crash in qualifying. I've got to be quick here, and couldn't really prove what he has to offer.
Thrasher said we were jinxed. Well, yeah, we're going to try not to jinx people like that happened yesterday in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 race, because the commentator's curse was very real yesterday. Here we go for the 5 red lights. Going to come out, and we're going to rev it up very soon here for the Grand Prix. Just waiting on everything to start. Patiently waiting. 5 red lights coming upon us here for the drivers, revving it up for the start. Here we go. It's lights out and away we go. Jack got a decent start, but he's going to be challenged by Speedy Midget into turn 1. The Haas trying to challenge Polo God around the outside, but Jack is ahead of Speedy Midget for now. They keep it clean out of the turn 1 chaos that they've had before at this very racetrack in tier 1. So Jack up to a Rouge to Radion. He leads the race ahead of Speedy Midget to Polo God to Sam Cole. Whoa. And the rest of the field behind.
I was watching for
Rat. Good.
Sorry, I was watching for some carnage in the background. It was Axe's AI that squeezed such a little bit.
Touching!
Oh!
They touched for the lead! Speedy Midget somehow got ahead of that, and he may have to let him by, and may have to give the position up. He does. But Jack and Speedy Midget tangle into on the opening lap and somehow get away with that. While that's happened, Sam Cole has got himself up to a podium position, and there's been position trades between Scratty Red, who's gone down the order, and still many battling throughout the field. You have side by side between Jab and Just Say. Just Say got himself ahead, and the 2 championship rivals from tier 2, Kagoda and Pluto, battling it out in sector 2 here. Kagoda stays ahead for the time being, while Pluto trying to challenge, locking up right there. One of his first races with ABS off. Should be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, I forgot all about that, to be honest. But nice to see Speedy Midget being respectful there. I'm not sure if the game told him to do that. Don't think it would have. But yeah, nice to see him giving up the position. And I was expecting some contact into that corner, to be honest. Flashbacks to F2, real life this season. Nisani and Tictum at that corner. Both sent out of the race, pretty much. That was quite dramatic under the circumstances. But 1 lap down. 21 to go, and Jack has a nice lead.
V2 combat down the inside. F1 driver gonna go back down the inside. Scratty Rat made contact with V2, but V2 is side by side with F1 driver. All V2 said he wanted into this race was at least decent points, but side by side into a Rouge, and V2's gonna lose it. There he goes into the barrier now. VSC. And that's a commentator curse. I'll tell you that right now. That is a commentator curse from what I just said. Oh, no. Well, Such J is pitting for hards already. Under this VSC. He's got out of the pits already.
He did have damage. That is why he pit. I did catch that with Axe's AI. Yeah, went in a bit too hot, to be honest, Such J. But it just makes this 19th question mark challenge harder now.
It's also going to mention the Jack and Speedy Midget contact at is also would have also possibly been similar to Rosberg and Hamilton.
Of course.
And back in 2014, and also similar to yesterday when both Mercedes collided twice there.
Oh,
and Brooke Morgan is out.
Safety car. Oh, sorry, Virtual.
And Axe has maybe collided with him as well.
Fake Axe, bot Axe.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't realize that. Well, you still got 8/10 between the race lead of Jack and Speedy Midget. DRS will have been able this time after Radion onto the Camel Straight. So you will see DRS between these two unless a mistake is made in these next 30 seconds. So you also have behind that Sam Cole to Polo God to Cobra. And then behind Scratty Rat, one of your favorites from this race, Jab. It'll be interesting to see how he can negotiate his way through things because he does not have many points this season. And he wants to do better. That's a double Renault retirement, just to keep you in mind of that, with both drivers from Renault out of the race already.
Yeah, Renault only have 10 points in this Tier 1 season, and they can't add to that today, which I'm sure is disappointing, but at the same time, not surprising. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be making much progress in this championship. And yeah, that's both their races over, unfortunately.
Well, let's look at the positions gained from the first few laps. 8 F1 Master, the reserve driver, up 4 spots. Bot Axe up 3 spots. And Jab has picked up a 3-second time penalty for the first time in this race. Just Sade as well. 2 positions for him. But also Ricochet and Kylo, so 2. It's the 2 AlphaTauris trading spots right there. And Sam Cole up a position. That's been crucial for him. F1 driver 2. F1 driver finished 4th, I want to say, in this race last season, if I'm correct on that. So with F1 driver finishing the way he did last season, he started around the same spot he did last season. So it should be interesting to see what goes on there. And ABS Jarvis got himself ahead of Kyle so too. These two collided last week in Monza.
Yeah, Kyle actually has damage on the right-hand side of his front wing, so I'm sure he'll be coming in for a pit stop soon. Not ideal, of course. He hasn't scored many points of his own. I will check. Kyle SO2 with 1 point.
1, yeah.
Yeah.
8F1 Master is side by side with GSR Pluto. This is into the bus stop chicane. This time Sam Cole fastest lap and kind of forces Pluto off the racetrack a little bit there. That may have picked up Pluto a warning, and he may try to get that removed. A little bit of lag right there between 8F1 Master and GSR Pluto. Into turn 1 this time. It's Pluto ahead, but 8F1 Master will have the DRS after Radion. But someone who's already got DRS is Paulo God challenging Sam Cole. This is for third this time. Sam Cole had a really good start, got himself on the podium, but Paulo God really back out of this one. Yeah, he thought smarter of that one because he knew that would have ended worse than what he had maybe thought. And Jab, head of Scratty Rat, 8F1 Master, head of Pluto. Positions trading right there through the midfield. So far, it's Jack, Speedy Midget, Sam Cole, and Paulo got in a train. We saw last season, it may have not been a train for the race lead, Milo, but it was a train for second on back, really trying to catch Razone with those dying tires of his. This 4-car train, maybe 6-car train now that we see at the front of the pack, do we expect it to stay like it did the whole race last season?
Yeah, obviously, I do remember that. But this is different now. There hasn't been a safety car. These guys are all on the same strategy. So expect someone to maybe come in, try and undercut, get themselves into some clean air if possible, and try and break the okay, funny speech. Break the train a little bit. So yeah, it's not entirely similar as we're on the normal strategy here.
Oh, car off. Such J into the wall. He's got himself against the barrier. And that's another yellow flag for that. Pluto has got himself ahead of Ricochet as well after losing a position to 8F1 Master. So yeah, Such J, I mean, again, we had him as a favorite, and I guess we cursed him. I guess we'll put it that way. I mean, the curse was real, I will say. But yeah, it is for the race lead, though. 4/10 between Jack and Speedy Midget. These two close to one another again. The ERS, though, very similar, but Speedy Midget's better on ERS than him. And there's a safety car. Where's he retired?
Huh? What?
Where is he retired? What? I'm lost for words. I don't know where he's... It doesn't show where he's retired. Okay.
Visible confusion.
Yeah, I'm surely confused about this.
It's a birthday present, right? No?
Yeah.
Maybe?
I guess
What?
so. I don't know what's happened with him, but I would like to know. I'm gonna check the main chat. Oh. So, it was because of Axe and AI, and he got stuck behind Axe. And in Eau Rouge, it did not end well between those two.
Oh, no.
I'm going to be expecting, though, the race leaders and the whole field to be pitting here. And especially if you're in mediums, I don't know if they want to stay out or not, but they may want to try something different. Now, it should be interesting to see between the two teammates who gets held, who doesn't. With this being said, F1 driver going to back up Scruddy Rat from where Paulo's at, and it is the race leaders into the pits.
Well, we might see some drivers jumping each other here. Of course, all the pit stops are about the same time. Is every driver coming in? Maybe Axe's AI might, but this is every active driver in the pit lane.
I think Alfa Romeo may have timed that perfectly, may have not, but it is Jack, Speedy Midget, Sam Cole, Paulo, and ABS Jarvis jumped some people, I think. If I'm correct, and yeah, Pluto's got jumped. So most people here under the hards, but there's people here onto the mediums, like Polo, like Just Sade, like AF1 Master. And there's a lot of people who may have had to fix their for wing, Kyle SO2 being AF1 Master as well, but most of these people are mediums, and I think Axe being an AI definitely won't help the situation with him right now. I hope if Square's still there, he'll get him out of AI and get him out of the way at least. If that's the case, I hope. So, yeah. P12, yeah. Do notice that. But, yeah.
Oh, Ricochet's actually trying to overtake him. I don't think that would work. Because it might start... Okay, Square is actually looking to retire Axe here. Because it doesn't look like he'll be getting back anytime soon. So that's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I find that fair, especially with what's happened with Such J already. I find that fair. Because Square said Axe would have been back. Because he was moving or something, whatever was happening. And I guess he wasn't back in time like he was expected to be. So I guess because of that, oh boy. Is Ricochet, oh no, not this. Is this happening?
No.
Oh yeah, Axe is down the order, okay.
Yeah, it must be Square track. And I think it's worked.
Hopefully it's not caused illegal overtakes though. That's the only thing I can hope. Or at least 5-second penalties. I'd at least hope. Yeah, Square did say he's going to retire the car, which I think is fair, especially because the Such J incidents happened. The, we've already had Axe probably not going to come back. And I think that'd be fair to at least earn him something in this race. But this is going to be crucial for the championship then between Williams and Alfa Romeo, because you got Jack out there. We also got Polo with 12 points right now as things stand. F1 driver with 6. And, so that's going to mean then 8 points separate Williams and Alfa Romeo after this race as things would stand. But how much is Paulo going to gain on these medium tires? Because keep in mind, if you remember back to last season, Rizone was on the medium tires. And what did he do? He got on to win the race. And that was mainly helped because of the VSCs at the end. There were 4 VSCs at the end of that race. And I know this isn't last season, but this still is lap 7 on about to be the restart soon. And yeah, X coming in, gonna retire the car. Axe is retired from the session. So that's 4 retirements in this race so far. Yeah, so Jay kind of showing his frustration. Why could that not have been done at the start? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they were. I think Square and Axe. Well, Square was anticipating Axe to be back at the start. That's why he had him in AI. So I'm not sure. At least it didn't cause worse under the safety car. With that being said, I mean technically we could say that's Square's second tier 1 race though. You know, if you remember back to Germany of season 1 though. I mean, still got to control the car. I mean, may as well put Dominant Square on that result list, I guess, right? You know. May as well get him in the Williams server as well, you know, while we're at it. No, but, I'm quite interested to see the medium runners here. How much ground are they willing to gain, and how are their tires going to die out? Because we saw yesterday, medium tires were a bit different in the tier 2 race, and even in the tier 3 race. If you have fresher tires, you're going to do better. But you had to go negotiate your way through the traffic without getting into trouble. Some people got in trouble, others didn't. So, a lot really went on yesterday. How is Paulo God, Just Sade, and AF1 Master going to do on these mediums? Because this could change the whole outcome of the race.
We're in this lap.
Safety car in this lap is right. How about you lead us to the safety car restart, Milo, with Jack leading, Speedy Midget, Sam Cole, Paulo, Cobra, the top 5.
Yeah, watch out for Polo, because those mediums are going to be fired up. They're going to have some heat, some more heat in them, more grippy off the start while they're nice and fresh still. So watch out for him. He'll be going for another run on Sam Cole, who fended him off last time. We've got Jack leading the field away. He's bunching them all up. He'll be looking to go at the bus stop chicane, which is obviously not the same as it was many years ago. And here Jack goes. The safety car is in, and we're away. It's a good launch.
Well, Paulo God is challenging around the outside of Sam Cole already at the safety car restart. Contact made. That may have hurt his front wing. It hasn't, but there may be lime green damage, and he's already trying to challenge before Rouge. Tony's son has got himself ahead of 8F1 Master. Position swap right there. But Paulo's going to have the run, going to have the overtake button, and enough momentum to challenge Sam Cole down to Les Combes, and can't do so just yet.
Oh, Scratty Rat and Cobra side by side.
Cobra's got ahead. Pluto trying to get ahead of Ricochet. Can't do much there. And they're still stuck in a train behind Cobra. Scratty Rat having to defend from jab down the inside. Paulo's got ahead of Sam Cole, as you see right there. Jab ahead, side by side again. Wheel to wheel. Contact made.
Oh,
and
that's
spun.
a big moment. F1 driver involved as well. I think he's had to slow the car down. And down to 10th. Remember the championship.
He's got
all
damage.
Important and damage as well.
Pagoda's gone by jab. Jab may have damage. So this is crucial for Alfa Romeo, what they need to have happen, because now F1 driver has got damage and he may be outside the points pretty soon. So now, because of what's happened there, what Paulo needs to do is find a way past Speedy Midget and charge down Jack. That's his only chance for Alfa Romeo to beat Williams with points today, in my opinion, because I think at this point, it's going to be dependent on Jack and Paulo, since F1 drivers had trouble, and now you've seen Axe retire. So yeah, jab down the order, letting people go. I think that's smart because he's coming into the pits this time. F1 driver as well. Scratty Rat may too. I think he may have picked up damage. He did on the right side, actually. Or actually not. No, he didn't. That's me being blind. Well, Paulo God has another opportunity to try to gain some more positions here. I want to check his warning because I know he usually says to me he gets 2 warnings and then doesn't pick up another warning for the rest of the race. But he has got himself clear and ahead of Speedy Midget. There's his challenge up to the race lead now. Well, yeah, he has 1 warning. I'm interested to see what Jack and the rest of the field have then. Jack has 1 warning. That's under the safety car maybe? I'm not sure. Speedy Midget. Not really much there. Nothing. Sam Cole with 2 warnings. 1 of them may have been for a collision. Ricochet's picked up a penalty, in fact, already. And, how about ABS Jarve, too? Not a bad, starting spot, really. From where he was, last season most of the time. 14th only. It's a bit better than what he started before. And where he's at right now, 8th place? Not bad after what happened last season in this race, where him and his teammate, SV Tax, collided on the opening lap. Now, I think Paulo God, even though he's using a lot of that overtake button, I think he's trying to set himself up here for DRS on Jack and a chance at the race lead here, because it's very, very possible. F1 Master at Blanchiment, slipstreaming Pluto into the bus stop chicane this time. Where does he go? Left, right, where? Around the outside here. Gonna have the inside line for the next corner, the last corner that is. He's ahead there, but Pluto still trying to challenge. Can't do much there. And yeah, that's position right there. And Paulo, you see him and Jack using the overtake button. Paulo will have himself set up for DRS now after Radion to the Camel Straight.
He got a good run over the top of the hill there. Gained a few hundredths on Jack, and now has the DRS that will bring him closer and closer and closer for the next lap, where we may see a change in the lead.
Now, did he just pick up a warning there? He did. That's 2 warnings for him, where Jack only has 1. He just ran over the curb right there the wrong way. ABS Jarve has a 3-second time penalty picked up already, and 5/6 between Jack and him. Now, did Jack pick up a warning for that? Because I'm interested to see who's picking up warnings here. Jack, nope, did not pick up a warning there. And fastest lap as things currently stand, Paulo God on those mediums. You could just tell how much more grip and how much faster he is on the mediums, but I mean, I was talking with him like I always do before each race, and he was saying to me this is one of his worst racetracks. He's so inconsistent here, but honestly right now that's not showing anything. Can't curse him now, but He is going to have the chance to challenge Jack, possibly for this race win, as we're about to reach the halfway point pretty soon. And it will also be dependent on F1 driver, what he can do. If he could challenge his way back through the field by the end of the thing. If people end up crashing, we'll have to see how that goes. It's going to have DRS here. Into the source.
Oh!
Jack left the session!
I'll do it very quickly.
Invite him back.
Yeah, very
Oh,
quickly.
no. Well, Paulo's going to really want to get by this. And Jack is logged out of the session again. I was at a party with Jack before the race, and he was talking about he quoted it. And I think he may have put this curse on himself with the way this is. He had mentioned, don't mention Austria last season. That was the race where he lagged out on the formation lap. Oh, my God.
Send another invite.
Fastest lap goes to F1 driver. And positions change. Kagoda ahead of ABS driver once again. ABS driver switching spots. Sam Cole with a penalty. Oh, boy. Well, you can say how Polo got that race lead. That was very lucky. You can say that was very lucky how he got that race lead. But you can still say he probably would have had the race lead or been challenging for it. So, yeah. Unlucky for Jack. And this is crucial in the championship right now between Alfa Romeo and Williams and even Jack himself. He has a 20-point lead and over Cobra, and especially where F1 driver is at right now, he's going to extend that gap on F1 driver. But you'd expect Cobra is going to be passing him soon, or at least getting close to him. But with this being said, oh, he's got back in the session right near Scratty Rat, or Sam Cole that was. But what I'm most concerned about for Jack is that he does not have minus 200-degree tires. That's the only thing I'm hoping not to happen, but he's Sam Cole down the inside right there, and he gets by Jack, while Cobra has a chance to challenge there too. So yeah, Cobra sees his championship rival right in front of him, and I don't think he was expecting to see that, Cobra. I really don't think he was expecting that.
You know what I am enjoying right now is Square's race updates. I mean, I'm literally watching the race, but it's very interesting, Square. Keep it up. But yeah, Jack is looking to get past Sam Cole. They almost both went out of the race there. At Blanchimont, another fastest lap for F1 driver, unless that was the one from earlier. Doesn't look like it. But no, he can't get through on this lap.
See, I think Jack's going to have the pace to challenge back Paulo and get to him. The problem for him, though, as it's halfway in the race, is he's got Speedy Midget to deal with. How much of a pain will he be? And same with Sam Cole. These guys, I think, if I'm correct, Sam Cole has a penalty. Speedy Midget has just a warning. So, I mean, Jack's going to be on the podium as things stand, but it's very concerning that Cole could play a factor into this. And maybe he can try to set himself up for a podium. Down the orders, Kyle SO2 spun around, reset to track. That's probably going to be a penalty. Someone could probably submit a ticket there. Yeah. Kagoda is off. What's happened with Kagoda?
He was close to Jarve, but that does look like a corner where it's, yeah, it's quite an easy one to spin out. Think Giovinazzi from 2020, but he's back in the running. And left the session, okay.
Oh, that's probably a little bit. Yep. Well, 3 seconds between the race lead once again. Sam Cole, Jack, Cobra, Just Sade as well. How about him? On those mediums, he's challenged his way back up to the field. 5 positions gained. And you also have ABS driver and Ricochet, 7 for them. So it's not bad for them. Gaining the positions they have. And the yellow flag, who's that? It's 8F1 Master. And here comes Just Sade on his teammate F-Ray Cobra. He's not going to try a move here. I think that was smarter to do so. Again, Jack's going to be hungry to get by Sam Cole and Speedy Midget because it's 3 seconds between the race lead. And keep in mind, if Polo, he's on those 2 warnings. If he gets a penalty, he may be over with that race win. You don't know. Scratty Rat ahead of Kagoda. Now, I mean, I know kind of how Polo is. Lucky, this is lucky. But you've got to still keep in mind that he was still yellow flag. That's Ricochet. But he's left a session?
What is going on?
A lot of lag outs. It's very concerning. Get Ricochet back in here. Get Kagoda back in here. Yeah. Can I have an invite, please? Game just crashed my whole Xbox. Alright, well, yeah. I think Milo's sending you one now, Kagoda.
Yeah.
So you should get that fixed there. I was just going to say, I know Paolo here. He's going to say, this was lucky, but keep in mind, he still would have been challenging Jack regardless. Now, would he have got that race lead? Don't know. You don't know. Would Jack have put up a fight? Probably. But the thing I'd be just wondering is the way he got that race lead was very unfair for Paolo. But at the end of the day, you're going to take... If he does it, he's going to take a win. So, don't know. Jack is now close enough to challenge Sam Cole for 3rd place. And after lagging out, he may have the timing glitch at the end of this thing, so just keep in mind what may happen here. He's behind Sam Cole, behind Speedy Midget. You also have 8F1 Master pitting for the softs at the end of the race. Ricochet as well. He's probably pitting for maybe front wing damage. Yes. I don't know if Ricochet's was a rage or not, but I know he just randomly left the session out of that. I know he crashed or something happened, and yeah, I need to fix the the quality on my stream, because that's horrible. There we go. But, wow. Oh yeah, I did miss Just Sade getting by Cobra, but if Just Sade can keep himself within DRS of Jack on those tires, maybe he can keep himself, maybe he can keep Cobra with him and keep Cobra within DRS to challenge Jack if Jack is still stuck in that pack. We saw many times there were people in the midfield or around that pack trying to overtake one another, but they just kept getting stuck in that pack, and DW was the one leading that pack. They just kept getting stuck in it. They couldn't go anywhere. And I think that's the same thing here again. They're in a pack with Speedy Midget and a little train, and they're just stuck in it. They can't go anywhere. Now, if Jack gets by Sam Cole, he may be able to go somewhere, but that's really about it. Jack needs to get by Sam Cole, and then he'll be able to go somewhere. But, yeah. So, both red DRS on the Williams of Jack, and this will be crucial for Cobra to have DRS on his team, at least in this pack still. And you see Sam Cole just pulling away from Jack now. And the interval gap is trying to fix itself while that happens. Yeah. Check the penalties. We'll do a quick penalty check quickly. While Milo, you can focus on the race. Polo, 2 warnings. Now, let me check if the lap 4 was a warning of collision. I want to check that. Lap 4 was a warning for exceeding track limits. Speedy Midget, he's picked up 2 a penalty. Jack, a warning. Now, he may not be able to get another warning because of the glitch of the timing glitch. Just Sade, 2 warnings, but that first lap was a collision with Kagoda, so that's 1 warning for corner cutting. Cobra, yeah, there you go, nothing, like the usual. ABS Jarv, he's picked up a penalty at some point. GSR Pluto, lap 2, lap 3 warnings. I want to check if that was... Well, Pluto could probably inform since the McLaren driver asked for it. Penalty for Tony's son. Scratty Rat. Penalty. Penalty for Carlos Hatu. F1 driver warning. Kagoda penalty. Jab penalty. Penalty for 8 F1 Master. Penalty. 2 penalties for Ricochet. And that's your running order. Now, F1 driver... Oh, a little echo for a moment. I was going to say, an F1 driver, he's still within a chance to challenge for points because he's on the back of Scratty Rat and that's his challenge for points. He doesn't have any penalties, but the guys in front of him do. And Sam Cole around the outside of Speedy Midget, they almost come to collision, and Speedy Midget has picked up his first penalty of the race. GSR Pluto surging past ABS Sharp. ABS Sharp back down the inside, touching right there. And almost a near collision.
heart stopped for a moment, and I was like, not another Racing Point DNF, but they get away unscathed.
Luckily it wasn't. Well, coming to six laps to go this time in this Grand Prix. And, oh boy, oh boy. Well, I don't want to jinx anything because I've been the king of jinxing things this weekend. GSR Pluto, though, runs 7th as things stand. And he could be on for a points finish for the first time in like 3 or 4 weeks, possibly, because he's been outside the points so many times. And this would really help his season a lot. And where he started out the season, he started out very well, very good. And then kind of after Baku, when we went to the 4th race of the season, I don't know how, I can't remember what the track was, but we went to the 4th race of the season, things started going downhill for him. Things didn't go well. And ever since then, I guess things have just been horrible. But hopefully he can get himself at least a 7th place finish here, because that's what he's looking on to do. And F1 driver's gap to points is 5.9. Why this is crucial is because Jack will get 2nd from things standing off penalties. And he's, hold up, he's on Sam Cole right now, down the inside of the Camel Straight. Here he comes on Sam Cole. Not so clear yet, but he is ahead now. And yeah, what he's looking to get at this race is 2nd based off the penalties. He could get jabs out.
In the pit lane.
In the pit lane, that is. Yeah, so they're not going to bring out a safety car unless it's a game glitch from it bringing out one. But Jack here is on for 2nd. And that'd be 19 points with the pole point. Polo had the fastest lap at some point. And would have 25 points. That's a 6-point difference. Now, that'd be 4 points between the championship, between Alfa Romeo and Williams. Okay? Why I say this is because if F1 driver gets himself into the points, maybe a point, maybe 2 points, maybe 3 points, maybe based off penalties, which he could possibly get, he could be within 1, 2, 3 points of Williams with Alfa Romeo. So that's why, not just Paulo leading, but why that battle for 10th and those penalties where F1 drivers at really matters, because that constructors fight we've seen before. Season 1, we had a driver's title fight, and a constructor's title fight. Both of them went to the final race. Both of them were decided on the first few laps of the race. That's why it's very crucial to bring that up, because many titles could be decided on the first laps of the race, or at some point in the race, because of collisions, because of certain things going on. And every point matters. Every point matters in racing, and I think that's the way it is. Paulo with a 2.8 second lead. Speedy Midget trailing Jack to Sam Cole to Just Sade and Cobra. Now, Just Sade, though, is running 5th, and he has kept himself penalty-free, while 2 of the people in front have got penalties. Now it's Speedy Midget and Jack. Jack coming with a lot of momentum, a lot of speed into Lake Calm, and he's ahead, but Speedy Midget challenging back. Speedy Midget can't do nothing about that, and Jack is ahead. Screddy Rat and Tony Sun. Screddy Rat on the far outside. Tony Sun still alongside. Touching between them. Touching again. And Tony Sun's ahead. But this battling, see, F1 drivers 4.6 seconds back. By the end of this race, he could catch up at least on penalties and beat these guys, because these guys do have penalties in this 8th, 9th, 10th area around there. Well, not, yeah, 9th, 10th, 11th area. Tony Sun, a penalty. Scratty Rat, penalty. Kyle Oso, too. Penalty for him. Those guys have 3 seconds. Well, F1 driver. So if F1 driver gets within 3 seconds of all of them, that's 9th place. So that'd be crucial. And look at the gap already between Jack and Paulo. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
that's coming down quickly.
Yes, I do say that a lot, but it's worth saying. I think Crofty says that a lot too, so yeah, it is worth saying. A position did trade there for a moment, and something's happened with maybe Tony Sun, because he's lost a chance at the pack. Maybe it was a game freeze? I don't know, because F1 driver is close enough to him for an overtake.
The 3 of them were battling, and I saw him run wide at Stavolo too, so that may explain it. Not sure what happened, if there was any contact or driver error or anything, but no damage.
Well, I just want to bring up, with the racing we've had this season, the competitiveness we've had a ton in Tier 1. 2.1 seconds is that race lead. We could possibly see, by the end of this race, a 7th different winner of the season. That's something in Tier 1 that we've never seen before. If that's the case, if Polo wins this race, or Jack, or not Jack, if Polo wins this race, or Sam Cole, or someone else, who knows? We could see a 7th different winner. That's why it's crucial bringing that up, because moments like this show how competitive things are. And 1.7 once again with Polo and Jack. This is going to be battle to the end that we're waiting to see. This is going to be a great one. 1.6 now. And F1 driver 2.3 behind. Tony's son is still losing more time. And yeah, Kyle also too near battle with Scratty Rat, near battle with Tony's son. Again, F1 driver, I mentioned it time and time again. He needs to get himself close enough there for something to happen. Cobra down the inside of his Red Bull teammate, locking up and colliding into him. Contact made again, forcing off the racetrack almost, and still touching, still making contact. Just Sade is still ahead, and that may have damaged Cobra's front wing just slightly, but Just Sade really defending on his teammate right there very aggressively, and really wants a chance at this podium because Speedy Midget, Sam Cole, they both have penalties. Just Sade does not.
If only we had Red Bull battles in real life, but look at Sam Cole here. Lovely exit off the top of Radion to try and overtake Speedy Midget here. He goes to the left-hand side. It's a trademark camel straight move for the Haas driver who... yeah, he's been in a really fighting position all day and deserves a good result from this.
Will F. Ray Cobra try another dive on his teammate? Because I've seen this battle be heating up for a while. This has been a race-long battle between these 4 guys, and Just Sade Cobra, you know, maybe they're not working together at this point in the race. Maybe Cobra just wants a chance at Jack, because I think the last thing Cobra's praying for, or the last thing Cobra wants is Jack to win this race over Polo, or Polo to pick up a penalty. That's the last thing he'd want. And 8F1, oh, I thought it was Polo for a minute. 8F1 Master picked up a penalty, and Pluto's picked up one as well. But yeah, why I mention this is because there's a 20-point gap in the championship right now between Jack and Cobra. As things would stand at the end of this race, it would be a 31-point gap between first and second. .3 between that race lead. He's going to get DRS at some point, Jack is. He's really been pushing for it. Look at that overtake button right there. Right there. He's so close to DRS. He just wants it because he knows if he gets to DRS, he can be able to challenge Polo. It might be a battle to the end like we saw this year in 2020 Monza. The straight line speed will definitely matter. He's not got himself close enough to DRS this time, but he's definitely going to be close enough. If he doesn't make a mistake, Jack, he will have enough momentum and have a chance possibly on the final lap of this race.
Speedy Midget now coming back at Sam Cole in the slipstream with overtake. Oh, goes to the outside,
Ooh!
but couldn't make his mind up.
Jack has got himself in DRS now. Polo needs to defend for this race lead over Jack on the last lap. This is going to matter. 8/10 is separated between them for the race lead. F1 driver has got himself out of Tony's son, so his challenge, he needs to get himself within 3 seconds of Kyle to get a point at the very minimum. And 7/10 between Jack and Polo. Jack's going to have DRS off the fallen corner into La Source if things stay right as it is. There's still this battle for 3rd place that could change the podium with Just Sade being on there. 6/10 Jack is from Polo.
Yeah, Just Say just dropped out of DRS of Speedy Midget, so I'm sure Cobra would like to overtake his teammate once more. But we are about to start the final lap. There's 3 battles to look forward to here. Here we go.
Polo with 2 warnings. Jack, just the 2 warnings. Yeah, Jack's got 2 warnings. So a penalty can change these guys' race. Polo leading on the final lap at Belgium, trying to win for the first time and become the 7th different winner this season, while Jack looks for a 4th win of the season. It's his opportunity to Belgium, or to Rouge, this time to Radion, for the race victory. Is it enough? 2/10 separates them. Overtake button engaged. Here he comes.
He hasn't got much charge left. If we look at Polo, he's got none at all. Here comes Jack.
Around the outside for the race lead. Polo has to yield, and Jack is ahead in the final lap. Speedy Midget ahead of Sam Cole as well. Touching and side by side.
Oh.
Touching again. Will Polo have one more chance to DRS on Jack? Will he? Will he have one more chance to beat him? Will Jack get a penalty? That's the last thing Jack wants. Can't extend the track. Kyle Oso 2, Scratty Rat, Jarver in this battle. You still have both Red Bulls in a battle with Sam Cole and Speedy Midget, but our focus is on the race leaders on this final lap. Jack cannot pick up a penalty. That's the last thing he'd want. He still leads this race by almost a second gap over Polo. 15 lap mediums to 15 lap hards between those two. 9/10 again. Jack has one final corner to negotiate his way through and not pick up a penalty. Jack leading this race, trying to win again. It's going to be close. This time to the start finish line. The final lap is underway, and we're coming to the checkered flag just now. Jack comes off the final corner to win his 4th race of the season. Polo God is still...
Timing glitch.
But...
Okay.
But regardless, what things are going to turn up to end to be is Jack winning the race for the 4th time. Polo still is going to be the guy who has the most podiums without a win. And how about FRA Cobra passing his teammate on the final lap to get a podium?
Yeah, of course. We were focusing on 2 battles at once there. Well, 3 battles at once there. Of course, Cobra, he's been wanting to get past for some time, and he saved the best till last. That is going to be P3 with just say P4. I'm sorry to damage those initial celebrations in the main chat, but yeah, sadly for him it is P4, but still a phenomenal effort by the pair of them. It's a result for Red Bull. F1 driver P10 and Kyle SO2 missed out on his 2nd points finish by just about 800ths, but it looks like he's going to be taking a penalty for the reset anyway, so...
And that's the finishing results. Jack wins again this season. It could have been the 7th different winner. It really could have. You were so close for it. I was wanting to see it, but Jack did do better at the very end and hold off Polo. Or, yeah, charge to Polo. And I'll hold him off in that final lap. How about post-race interviews for that top 3?
Oh, yes.
How about Joe Sade as well? 4th place. Best finish for him yet. Red Bull going to do good in the constructor standings with that race today, because they will overtake Williams, I'm pretty sure. If I'm correct on that. Let me correct myself. Yes, they will overtake Williams with most amount of points today. So, yeah. Alrighty, inviting the podium again.
Feels like I've DNF'd.
Personally, I think that's quite an embarrassing performance from Jack to be 17 seconds off the lead in such a crucial stage in the season.
Well. Did Kagoda? Oh man, Kagoda's just messaged me. I was just looking at it. So I may as well start with the race winner, Jack. Well, the game doesn't want you winning, I'll tell you that. But you've won the race. For the 4th time this season. How happy are you with that and extending that points lead you've got? Again, that last lap pass for the race victory. That's what you needed. And you both were on 2 warnings. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, because I had Patriot race engineering me, and obviously everyone knows this game is AIDS, so I'm just happy I fought back. To be fair, I'm surprised I didn't get like an antis glitch or just drive into a wall when I don't know what I'm doing it. So yeah, I'm happy with that. GG's Apollo. He did what he could. But yeah, I'm happy with the result.
It's your third one of the last 4 races. How much do you look forward to Spain coming up next week?
Spain is it's not one of my best tracks with like the track limits and just driving around it. So, and obviously last season didn't go quite well at Spain. So hopefully I can flip that around and do good.
Yeah, so it's your 4th win in ARL, 4th win of the season. You beat Polo to do it. How happy are you with the How happy were you with that battle and to charge him down? Is it better winning races like that, charging people down, or just dominating the whole thing? What do you kind of find more interesting to win races with?
Well, obviously a bit of everything, to be fair. Like, if I have fight through the field, I have fight through the field and overtake people, as what happened today and what happened in Hungary. Maybe that's right. So, yeah, it's a bit of everything, to be fair.
Yeah. And you extend your championship lead by 31 points. How happy are you to do that? And what do you kind of look forward to in these final 5 races on the count forward to the most as well, and that championship battle that I mentioned?
Well, obviously the last track, Spain, I've already said them average. Singapore is decent. Mexico, I've never driven around on this game, so I don't know how that is. USA, track limits, it's gonna be stupid, and Brazil. It's just, I don't know about Brazil. Like, I think I'm going to be missing at least 2 of the 5 races because of karting.
Don't kart.
Thank God we've got a chance.
I know who's happy. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I know who's happy in this party from that.
We've got a chance.
So, so I just want to get as many points as possible. So if just gain as much as possible, so I've got that little buffer. And obviously, in the last other 3 races, I'm just gonna have to do the best as I can to rack up the points. Obviously, Williams haven't done great. They've got no points from Tier 2 and 3, which was pretty disappointing. Axe retired, so it just laid on me, to be fair.
Correction, Square. Square retired Axe. Just put it that way.
Oh, right.
You'll hear about it later. You'll hear why. But yeah.
Sure.
You have anything else to say before I say congratulations? And Milo can ask you questions.
Not really, no.
Well, congratulations on the win. Let someone else win. No, I'm kidding. Please just win. I don't care. I'm just joking. But Milo, do you have any other questions for Jack121205?
I do have 2 in 1 questions for Jack12121205. Firstly, congratulations, and questions coming up, obviously. Firstly, if you'd like to explain what happened with the disconnection, and of course, if that didn't happen, how much do you think you could have won by today? Because you had to fight back through the traffic, and obviously on that final lap you were much quicker than Polo once you got past him and into the clean air. So, what would be your estimation on your win today?
Well, obviously with the disconnection, I'm just driving along in front, and then Polo's catching me, and then I see you have disconnected from Xbox Live, and I'm like, you sure? This ain't happened all week, but now. it's like the game was like against me to get some kind of good result.
Uh,
And obviously, I'd rejoined in fourth place, which was behind Sam and Speedy, and then Polo was 4 seconds up the road. And obviously, I had that glitch, which you can't look side to side or backwards. So I just didn't want to flick it. And obviously, I just had to make my way through the field, and just I was probably like 10% when I came back in the session. So I just had to try and like save as much as possible just for like the overtakes. And on to your second question, I think it would have. I don't think I would have won it by a mile because Polo would have been. He would have overtook me in like 1 or 2 laps because he was on the medium tyres and the better tyre. And then obviously Polo would have defended for his life. So if I did get past Polo when I was in the session, I reckon it would have been like a 1 or 2 or maybe 3 second margin. So not that much.
Got a fun fact. Both Jacks, Jack 121205, the Sweat Jack, and Bennett are the only people to win after lagging out of the session. So I guess you should be happy with that fun fact, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially with how this game is. So yeah,
Instantly
congratulations
puts that
on
emoji as well.
the win. Yeah. So on to the second place finisher, Paula God. I mean, you definitely had the pace to take the lead. I think we could definitely say how you took it may have been a bit unfair with how that circumstance was, but still, leading the race is leading the race, and you've already led more laps than you've led last season. It's been second place for you the last 3 weeks. How frustrating is it to come short of the win once again and still and still have the record of most podiums without a win?
Well, this feels like a DNF if I'm being honest. I don't know how I just lost all my pace at the end. Jack deserved the win, obviously, because of that lag out, of course. I still don't think I would have. I was like, Jack's gaining like mad. The thing that I was worried about was my tires, and I was a little bit too worried because I was checking them like every single lap, which I probably shouldn't have done. I probably should try to pull more of a gap because I just gap while saving my tires at the same time. It worked for most of the race. Like Speedy Midget wasn't like on the pace that much, but then Jack gets past Speedy Midget, and then yeah, my pace starts to drop off a cliff, and then Jack pulls in and catches me. To be fair, Jack was leading the race and disconnected, so to be fair, he does deserve the win anyways, even though, I was leading and all that, but even though I finished second, it feels like a DNF if I'm being honest.
Now, I know it feels like a DNF from your standards, but to be in winning contention for the last 2 weeks, second for the last 3, does that give you confidence when Jack misses those at least 2 races he's expected to miss to possibly win one of them and maybe steal third in the championship after F1 Drivers' bad race and even the Constructors' Championship with Alfa Romeo?
I mean, it's a good confidence booster, obviously, that I'm getting these second place finishes. Oh, and just ironically, I disconnected from the session. It said you must be signed into Xbox Live. Yeah, anyway. I think it's a good confidence booster because I've been quite consistent. I think I've gotten 4 podiums in a row now, if I'm not mistaken. Either 3 or 4, anyways. Like, obviously, today's result, I wanted the win. I almost got the win, and I got second. But I guess the one thing is, it's 18 points, and it's, although we actually lose points on his F1 driver to an incident with Scotty Rat and Jab after safety car restart, which is a shame, because he was like, he was on 7th, and he would have been, like, ahead of the other guys. But I guess it's just hoping we have another good race in Spain next week and just move on from today.
Yeah, now I want to mention you actually move up to third in the championship standings after this race from all that. Although today felt like a DNF, can you be happy about that at least heading into Spain next week? Because with third in the championship, you've never been this high up at this point in the season, at the mid to end point of the season. You've never been third in the championship. Does that say a lot out of your three podiums in the last three races and four podiums of the last five?
I mean, yeah, I'm happy with being. Well, I think it's third in the championship if the math is correct, but yeah, I guess my confidence is still high heading into the next couple of weeks because Spain, while it isn't one of my best tracks, I guess I'm off for the week for school, so I'll have time to do a bit of extra practice. Then Singapore. Singapore looks like to be one of my strongest tracks this game. So I guess if I just keep the confidence high, keep the momentum going, I guess I could end the season on a high.
Congratulations on second and your DNF. I'm kidding. Milo, any questions for Polo?
Yeah, I'd like to talk strategy because obviously the the big moment for you there was going on to the mediums and when everyone else went opposite on the hards. Why did you do that? Like, talk us through it. What was the inspiration, or did you expect everyone else to do the same?
PMB told me 2 weeks ago that you'd have a chance of winning a race if you did like a bold strategy call. I remember you saying that 2 weeks ago, and I was like, maybe if I
Can
do that,
confirm.
if I do the same thing in Italy, and I was like, okay. I told F1 driver, I'm gonna go on to mediums and take them to the end. He was like, they're not gonna make it. They're definitely not gonna make it. And I'm like, sure, there's every point in trying because I can easily win this race if I go on to mediums. And I did, and sure enough, another risk that I've took has actually paid off. Although I didn't win the race, it gave me P2, which yeah, it's again like I said, confidence booster and. I guess, yeah, both strategies are paying off, and at least I'm not getting punctures like I was at the start of the season.
Yeah, congratulations on your second place.
All right, cheers.
Milo, you can go to Cobra in third. And nice to see you back in the podium, Cobra.
Yeah, Cobra, congratulations on your third place. It was a tricky ending, seeing as you had to get past your very recently new teammate. Were you satisfied with his driving towards the end there? Because he really did give you a fight.
To be honest, I'd rather not sort of like get into that. We'll discuss it internally. I don't really know what was going on, to be honest, because towards the end of the race, my tyres were a lot fresher, obviously, because the medium started to die, and he continued to obviously we continued to fight for the podium. But I can also understand because he didn't have a penalty, and if I didn't pass him, he would have been on the podium because the two guys in front did. So I can understand, but we'll talk about it internally and sort of discuss what went on.
Yeah, it's a nice points haul for you either way. I'm pretty sure you go ahead of McLaren. I'm not going to do any quick maths, but
Big check, the one and only.
but
Correct, they do.
yeah, okay, well that's good. Are you happy with that? And do you think you can hold on to third, considering how with McLaren's performance today?
Yeah, McLaren is a bit of a shitter. I don't really know what happened to Pluto, but Speedy he didn't seem to really have the pace, to be honest, towards the end of the race. That's not like I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but he just seemed to sort of lack a bit of pace towards the end, which kind of bunched us up. Frustratingly, Jack, when he disconnected and then rejoined, he got passed by what's his name, Sam Cole.
Sam.
And I was about to pass Sam on the next lap, but then obviously I couldn't because he had the DRS of the car in front. That was really frustrating because if it wasn't for, I know obviously it's easy to say in hindsight, but maybe if I'd got past Sam and Speedy, I would have been able to catch up to Polo, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter now.
Yeah, congratulations on your provisional P3, because I do notice that there has been some tickets opened about penalty removals, which I won't get into because I haven't looked. But yeah, congratulations, PNB continue.
Yeah. Although you said you'd rather not really speak about your teammate, I actually want to ask you a question about him quickly. Are you guys I'd ask, are you happy to have him as a teammate instead of DW? Performance-wise, because mainly you'd see DW spinning or something going on there, and he's getting the results now that DW couldn't get before, and being more consistent with them. Are you happy to have him as a teammate for the performance he's done?
Yeah, I think to be honest, as good as friends as me and oh my god, I made an absolute mishmash of that. As good friends as me and DW are, I think he just kind of lost motivation over the last sort of season and a half. So yeah, I think it's good to be getting some decent points from the constructors, but obviously, yeah, we'll talk about it internally. So I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was gonna say, I'm sure you guys are happy at least that you both didn't collide in like two other teams that had collisions this weekend. I was gonna kind of also bring up as well. You know, it's good to see you back on the podium. Although this season's not been as good as the rest of the other seasons for you. What do you kind of look forward to in the final 5 races the most, at least? Just to end the season, just to stay second, what do you kind of think will happen this final 5 races, and what are you looking forward to out of them?
Well, hopefully I don't get sort of hit around like I did at Monza. I have to say, when V2 crashed at Eau Rouge, the smile on my face was like from one ear to the other ear, just pure smile. Like the happiness. I never felt happier. Like I'd rather see him crash behind me than win the race after just everything that he's done to people, shoving people around, showing a very big lack of respect towards other people on the track. I think it's very good that he's now felt how it feels, and hopefully, from now on he can improve his driving. But we won't get into that too much. But yeah, I hope I can continue in sort of decent performances like this. Obviously, Milo, you said there's been a ticket opened for track limits. We'll see what happens. Obviously, my view on track limit sort of removals is very dim. I have actually had one this season, so I can't really say much, but I don't really like the idea of it. I didn't feel good when I did it, but everyone can do what they want. But yeah, hopefully I can keep the podium. I think I drove a pretty decent race, so yeah.
And oh god, I was gonna ask another question. I forgot it. You brought up something else, and I don't remember what I was gonna ask. Oh no, I remember now. You've yet to win a race this season. You've gone into the season pretty far without winning a race. Do you still feel you have the confidence and the chance to win a race this season?
No. To be honest, no, I don't think so. Because I don't know, you feel it when you can and when you can't do something, and I don't know. Something lucky would have to happen. I mean, Tax has won the race this season, for fuck's sake. So, yeah. I don't know. I think I've had a few chances. The main one being sort of Bahrain, and I guess I hit it at Silverstone under the safety car, but anyone could have. So I think Bahrain was kind of my main opportunity to win a race, and I bottled it. But again, that's my fault. Yeah, hopefully I can gain a bit more confidence. I've gone back to the camera settings I used to use on the last game, and already I felt an improvement today. So hopefully I can keep getting better, and yeah, just maybe challenge for the championship if I'm lucky.
You never know. We could see you win in Spain like you did last season. We'll have to find out how that goes. And
Shit, why
congratulations on the
did
third
that
place
play?
finish.
Sorry.
What'd you even play? I didn't even hear it.
I went on Instagram for 2 seconds, and then that Kimmy video came up of his start on full volume. Sorry, oh my god.
Oh my god.
It was a good start.
Please, no
I can't lie.
copyright.
It was a good start.
Yeah, that was good. That was. Now Milo, what do you look forward to most next week in Spain for all the tiers, and mainly tier 1? And I was gonna also ask too. We've yet to see an actual wet race for Tier 1. When do you think that's coming?
Well, to answer your first question, not looking forward to Spain at all. um,
Oh, I've spun balls.
yeah, but specifically for Tier 1, it was actually not a bad race last season with a late race safety car, kind of snaking trains all over the place, a few mistakes, you know. It's either a good race or a bad race at Spain, and maybe we could have a wet one, but it all depends on the weather voting. I'm sure nobody wants a wet race in Tier 1 for Spain, but I wouldn't mind a bit of entertainment. Um, just bring us Portimao. That's my opinion instead of.
Yeah, I could agree too. I can't tease anything at all, right? But I can't really say anything either. I do think a wet race will happen this year, in the Tier 1, because there's no way we're gonna go the full season without a wet race. I don't think that's possible, but we'll see how voting goes, because we've seen at time and time again. It almost rained today at the. It actually did rain at the end of qualifying, but it wasn't enough for inners. So, we could see some wet running at least at some point. Question is, will it even be inners? Will it even be wets? Who knows? But from today's race, I kind of liked it. It wasn't like an outstanding race. It wasn't a complete classic, but it was probably on par for last season's race with how good that was. So I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to Spain for kind of a few reasons. Although it may not be the most interesting track and whatnot, look forward to some maybe late race battles, because we've seen before Boker and Cobra last season, Kagoda and Adam Fav last season, Chevy Giant and Rapalucas last season. So we've seen a late race battle every time at Spain when we were racing here before. Will that happen now? Probably not. It's F1 2020. The check is revamped basically in Sector 3, so don't know. But we'll have to find out what goes on next week in Spain. Tune in next week, and also keep in mind the same time it was for Americans, 1 p.m. today, and it'll be 3 p.m. next week for Tier 2 and Tier 3. Same time for Europeans, but just the 4-hour difference makes the time 1 hour later for Americans. So tune in next week. Just to remind you guys about that. Tune in next week for Spain, and I hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll see you then.
And Leicester's gonna lose.